On tonight's Fayette Prep Rally, feast and famine as the playoffs hit town. On one hand, Sandy Creek did as expected, rolling through the regular season and its way to a region title. Who will stop the Patriots? It won't be Stockbridge. Elsewhere, Landmark Christian in Class A went into the cradle of Northside private school champions and came out with a W. A complete game equals playoffs for Landmark. And woe to be Whitewater. A terrific season ends too early, and we've got the painful truth because video never lies, and neither do Brian and Nathan. Hey, the playoffs are here. Check out Fayette Prep Rally in 30 seconds.
I'm failing. No big deal.
What about college?
Face it, I'm not getting into college.
Fighting doesn't work.
We can't let him keep failing.
Maybe he'll outgrow it.
It's not just a phase. You saw his report card.
Ignoring it doesn't work.
Ma, I said I'd do better. Saying it and doing it are two different things.
Punishment doesn't work. What does work is a Huntington Learning Center. By improving basic skills, we build motivation and confidence, and kids look forward to learning. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN today. Your child can learn.
Comcast presents your source for Fayette County High School sports. This is Fayette Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Fayette Prep Rally, your weekly high school sports program featuring the very best from Fayette County High School action. I'm Brian Wise, joined alongside by Nathan Cheddar. You can catch us year-round here on Comcast Channel 25, weeknights at 6, 8, and 10. And Nathan, then there were 32. The regular season is now complete and the state playoffs are set to begin, so let's get to our keys to the weekend. And the Cats fall at home.
Tough loss for Whitewater. They fall to Griffin 23-22. The loss will keep Whitewater out of the state playoffs this season.
Landmark pulls the road upset.
Huge win for Landmark Christian. They defeat Wesleyan 16-7. They will be the number 4 seed from Region 5 in the state playoffs.
The Pats clinch the region title.
Yeah, Sandy Creek knocks off Stockbridge 22-14 to capture their 4th straight region title and finish the regular season 10-0. A lot of momentum heading into the playoffs for the Sandy Creek Patriots. They look for another state title.
All right. Well, let's jump to those highlights, and we start with the showdown between Whitewater and Griffin with a trip to the state playoffs on the line. First quarter, Griffin has the ball. Back to pass, throws deep down the left side here, and this is going to be a great completion by the wideout who spins, breaks a tackle. It's in a foot race to the end zone. Dives in for the touchdown, and the Bears are up 7-0 early. After a blocked punt, the Bears are going to take over deep in Wildcat territory. The Whitewater defense holds on 3rd and goal, forcing the Bears to settle for a field goal.
After another blocked punt, Griffin with the ball up 10-0. Back to pass, complete over the middle for the touchdown. Bears in control early, 16-0.
Later in the quarter, John Mark Rhodes, back to pass, decides to keep instead. He's going to give his field goal kicker a few extra yards. Then from 44 yards out, it's Austin Bernard who splits the uprights, and the Wildcats trail at the half 16-3. Third quarter now, Wildcats with the ball. The handoff is to Trey Wofford, who starts left, cuts back right, breaks a tackle, dinks and dunks, and fights his way down inside the 10-yard line. A few plays later,
4th and goal from the Whitewater. The handoff is to Wofford. He gets tripped up short of the goal line. The Wildcats turn the ball over on downs. A few plays later, Griffin with the ball. The handoff is mishandled. The Wildcats fall on it.
The Wildcats would make the most of the turnover. The handoff is to Wofford. This time he finds a hole and will not be denied. Touchdown Whitewater, trailing 16-10, third quarter. Next Whitewater possession, Rhodes, play action, gets flushed from the pocket, decides to keep, makes a man miss, keeps his balance down the sideline. Finally, Rhodes gets knocked down inside the 5. A couple of plays later, the pitch is to Wofford, finds a hole and dives into the end zone. The game now tied at 16.
4th quarter, after a Griffin touchdown, Wildcats with the ball. Rhodes bubble screen to Desmond Staples, who's looking to throw deep down the right side. As a man wide open, it's Wofford who brings the ball in. Whitewater in business.
Later in the drive, it's Wofford for the 3rd time in the game. Touchdown, Wildcats. Wildcats going for the 2-point conversion. Rhodes back to pass. That's incomplete over the middle. Bears up by 1.
Whitewater with the onside kick. Bobbled by the Bears. Recovered by Whitewater.
And Austin Bernard with a 53-yard field goal attempt for the win is going to fall just short. And that's a tough loss for the Wildcats as Griffin wins the Wild one 23-22 over Whitewater. And Nathan, the Wildcats had a great season, but they're going to miss out on the state playoffs this year.
It's really a shame. I think Whitewater is probably the second best team in this region behind Northgate. But the way everything is set up, they had to play this region play-in game. They got a red-hot Griffin team. Griffin struggled to score early in the season. The past 4 games, they've been red-hot, putting up big numbers, and they brought that momentum into this game. Unfortunately, Whitewater fell behind early, didn't have enough to overcome the deficit. Just a tough way to end the season. Whitewater, a very good team. It's a shame they will not be going to the state playoffs this season.
Yeah, it is. They worked hard all season. Well, let's get back to the highlights now. And Sandy Creek was playing host to the Tigers of Stockbridge, and there was a Region 4 title on the line. We picked this one up in the third quarter. Sandy Creek is up 15-0. Stockbridge will receive the second half kick. Evan Jones with the return, finds a seam, has blockers in front of him. One man is to beat, and Jones is going to dive into the end zone, and the Tigers cut the lead to 15-7. Sandy Creek looking to answer. Cole Garvin with the give to C.J. Washington, finds a nice hole up the middle, tripped up and brought down. A couple of plays later, the handoff is to Delvin Weems, who fights his way into the end zone. Won't be denied, and the Patriots go on to complete the perfect season and win 22-14 over Stockbridge. And Nathan, it wasn't easy, but Sandy Creek got that region title.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. They finished the season 10-0. Get the region title. Stockbridge is a pretty good team. They came into this game with only 1 loss on the season, so no pushover. And it's probably a good thing in the long run for Sandy Creek to have a tough game here at the end of the season, have a little momentum. You know, if you blow out a team, maybe you're not as focused heading into the playoffs. This Sandy Creek team is focused. They're ready to go. And that being said, I think the first-round opponent, Butler from Augusta, they play on Friday night. I think that will be a blowout win. And Sandy Creek should cruise that first round and move on to the second round.
All right, look forward to that. More highlights now as we check in on Landmark Christian, who traveled out to Wesleyan with a spot in the playoffs on the line for Region 6. The Eagles would get things started as the handoff is to Jeremiah Kirkland up the middle, finds a nice hole as he heads down the sideline. He's going to get knocked out of bounds. Later in the drive, the handoff is to Chase McFarland for the touchdown, capping an 85-yard drive by the Eagles, who now lead 6-0.
Wesleyan looking to answer. Will Anderson dropping back to pass. His throws complete along the sideline for the first down for Wesleyan.
A couple of plays later, it's Anderson with the inside pitch to Xander Yost. Yost fights off some tacklers and breaks it into the open field, finally gets caught from behind. Later in the drive, it's Eric Sunderman who would attempt a 52-yard field goal, barely missing wide right, and the Wolves still down 6-0.
On the next Wesleyan drive, Anderson back to pass. He's going to hurried. The throw's complete to a wide open Eric Gossett. 54 yards on the throw and catch. Wolves lead 7-6 midway through the second quarter.
On the ensuing possession for the Eagles, the handoff is straight up the middle. The ball gets stripped by the defense, and Wesleyan would recover on their own 22. A couple of plays later, it's Anderson back to pass, throws complete to Eric Sunderman, who picks up a nice first down.
Next play, Anderson has trouble with the snap. Right there to pounce on the ball is the Landmark defense.
After the turnover, Cantrell Frazier drops back to pass, throws deep downfield, and this is going to be a great catch and able to hang on to the ball after that big hit. Later in the drive, from just a couple of yards out, as Donald Payne shoots right up the middle and in for the score. Eagles lead 13-7. Landmark would add another field goal and earn their trip to the state playoffs, winning this one 16-7. And Nathan, that is a huge win for the War Eagles. So what does this mean for their state playoff chances?
Well, this team should have a lot of confidence heading into their first-round state playoff game, going on the road to play a team like Wesleyan. I thought Wesleyan probably should have played in the region championship game. Their only region loss of the season was to Holy Innocents when Will Anderson, their starting quarterback, was injured. So this is a great Wesleyan squad, and the fact that Landmark was able to go on the road and beat them, and the score was the most shocking thing to me. Not necessarily that Landmark won. The 16-7 final was kind of crazy. I expected a 49-42 kind of high-scoring game with these two offenses. Credit to the Landmark defense. They stepped up. If they can play like that in the playoffs, they can go a long way. They start off playing Darlington in Rome, Georgia this Friday night. Should be a heck of a game.
Yeah, remnants of the beginning of the season for Landmark Christian. Time now to recap more football action from this past weekend, and we start things off with the Stars Mill Panthers.
Big win to end the season for Stars Mill. They defeat Dutchtown 27-26. They finished the season 5-5 overall. They actually trailed 14-0 in the game. John Smith scored a rushing touchdown. Jason Linder scored 2 touchdowns, including the game winner with just 20 seconds left in the game. Dylan Altera passed for 125 yards, also ran for another 71.
In Fayette County,
big win, defeat Woodland 28-14. Great way to end the season. They finished 2-8 overall. 2-8 is not where they want to be, but had some curveballs thrown their way this season. That injury to Tago Smith, the starting quarterback early in the season, really kind of threw them off. Coach Mike Davis will have a whole offseason now to work with the returning players. The team will know what to expect next season.
And McIntosh.
Another tough loss. It seems to be a trend with the Chiefs this year. They fight hard, but unfortunately came up a little short, 22-21 in overtime to Ola. They finished 1-9 on the season. They fought hard all the way to the end, just fell a little short in several games this season. They have a talented young quarterback who's only a sophomore. They'll have to replace several talented seniors, Jake Turner, Nick Inzer, Alex Osendorf, Dan Lentz, just to name a couple. But I like where this team's heading.
All right. Well, none of those three teams, unfortunately, qualified for the state playoffs. So what can they take from the 2011 season?
Well, I think when you look at McIntosh and Fayette County, they had a lot of rebuilding going on. They had new head coaches for both teams, which is never an easy thing. You have a whole new philosophy coming in. Very young players as well on the roster. So a tough year for them, but I like the foundation they're building. And then for Stars Mill, coming off that state championship runner-up last season, coming in here, they lost so many players. They knew it was going to be a difficult situation, but to be able to finish strong, finish 5-5 with a 500 record, I think is very important. They'll build on this. They'll be back next year. They'll be a playoff team next year.
All right. Well, the state playoffs are here, so be sure to check in on us next week on Comcast Channel 25 as we have highlights from that action and features. And be sure to like Fayette Prep Rally on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter to see what's happening on the show. For Nathan Shutter, I'm Brian Wise. Thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.
I'm failing. No big deal.
What about college?
Face it, I'm not getting into college.
Fighting doesn't work.
We can't let him keep failing.
Maybe he'll outgrow it.
It's not just a phase. You saw his report card.
Ignoring it doesn't work.
Ma, I said I'd do better. Saying it and doing it are two different things.
Punishment doesn't work. What does work is a Huntington Learning Center. By improving basic skills, we build motivation and confidence, and kids look forward to learning. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN today. Your child can learn.